In this video, we are going to talk about design sounds. And I don't mean like design as a whole. I mean like whooshes, booms, builds, bangs, impacts, like all of those sexy sounds that you hear. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And I can't wait for you to watch this video because this video was made 3 years ago. I'm done prefacing. Let's do it. That works for an intro. Up until this point, we have been adding sounds that our character would hear, sounds that are intrinsic to the character's world. These sounds are called diegetic sounds. But now it's time to add some non-diegetic sounds. Non-diegetic sounds are sounds that do not originate from within our story's world. We actually do have one non-diegetic sound in the cut if you can guess what it is. An example would be a voiceover or your music. For example, our character does not hear the music playing, but he does hear the sounds of the car he is racing. The sounds of the car are diegetic because they originate from within our story's world. Our character can literally hear them. The sound of the music is non-diegetic because that sound does not originate from that world. It's something that only we, the audience, can hear. During this part of the sound design process, we are adding things like risers, crashes, booms, builds, impacts, and all of our dramatic sounds that increase the emotional tension and impact of certain beats. Now, because these sounds are non-diegetic, it's much more difficult to actually cue these sounds in the timeline because there's nothing physically there or related to the environment that's cueable other than what's in our head. So we have to be creative in placing these sounds. This process has a lot to do with Plug and Chug. And for this commercial specifically, I don't see us using a lot of design sounds, but just enough to take our video to that next level. So with that said, let's talk about the 3-step process we are going to use to lay our design bed. The first thing we're going to do is locate all of our sounds, which we've done before, so you should kind of be familiar with the process. The sounds you're looking for are risers, crashes, booms, builds, bangs, impacts, atmospheres, all non-diegetic sounds that are going to complement your cut. Step 2 is to organize all of these sounds in your project folder and import them into your project. Step number 3 is the longest step, is Plug and Chug. We are going to try out, audition, and cut these non-diegetic sounds in our timeline. And I will be walking you through my thought process as we place these sounds. So with all that said, let's do some dancing. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is locate your sounds. I've showed you the YouTube method, so you can use the YouTube method. You can go YouTube and you can type in whoosh, SFX, 25 whoosh sound effects transitions. So here are a bunch of sound effects. All you need to do is you need to copy this YouTube link. Then you go to youtube.mp3, click any converter, and you paste that link into here, and it will recognize that, and you hit download MP3. If you're tight on cash and you want a free way of doing it, there you go. Now, the next option you can do is find content creators or products online that offer free versions of sound effects. That is something I used to do all the time, so I'm going to show you one right now. If you go to epicsoundeffects.com, and I'll leave a link to it in the description, you will see this website, and in the top right-hand corner, you see free SFX. And if you want to download these free SFX, you have to create an account. And after you create your account, you'll come to this page, and you will be able to download each and every one right here. So there are 1, 2, 3, 8. There are 8 free sound effects packs that you can get from epicsoundeffects.com. And these are the sound effects right here, Epic Sound Effects. So when you find all of your sound effects, go ahead and drag and drop them to the desktop. So here's the Epic sound effects that I'll be using. So here is the sound design from Video Copilot I'll be using. That's from Designer Sound Effects. And here's the atmospheres from Motion Pulse. I'll also be using that one. And here's the TS Hits and Risers pack from Trying Digital that we will also be using. So these are the 4 sound effects packs that we'll be using. Let's open up our project folder, Nike Spec Add. We're going to go to Sound Design. Now these are all SFX. So we are going to select all the sounds we have, and we're going to drag and drop them into the SFX folder, and we're going to wait for that to load. Now that everything is in our SFX folder, we can get rid of these off the desktop, save some space. And now that they are organized within our project folder, it's time to import them. So we're going to open up our project, open up our Finder, and we have selected Sound Design, Atmosphere, Epic Sound Effects, TS Hits and Risers, and we're just going to drag and drop them in. And we're going to wait for those files to import. So now that they're all in here, we're going to drag and drop these folders into our Sound Design folder. Now that everything is there, it is time for step 3. We're going to plug and chug. So let's turn the hat forwards and let's get started. So if you have your headphones, go ahead, plug those in. We are going to design the shit out of this timeline. We should definitely double check our volume, make sure we're at the same level. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 bars on the Mac. We are now there. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just watch it all the way through, just to get my mind back into this world, into this story. So let's do it. So let's figure this puppy out. First thing I want some kind of bassy atmosphere. So I'm gonna come down here, I'm gonna go to sound design, I'm gonna go to atmospheres, I'm just gonna play a couple. Yeah, let's do a bit. Let's do this bass atmosphere, so we're gonna throw that in. I'm actually gonna move this music layer. I'm gonna move this music layer down a couple, and then we're gonna bring this in. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rename these to design. We'll start with 2 layers. So it's a little loud, we're gonna bring that down to like 15. And I brought that down to 15 by just hitting G on my keyboard and going to adjust gain byte and hitting -15. This little piece of bass atmosphere just adds a little bit of tension. That's why I like it. Maybe like a little, like a whoosh sound as he walks in, kind of like a reveal of this character. Let's play with this one. So I'm gonna drop this whoosh sound in here, and all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sync it up with our character's movements as he enters. It is pretty fast. I think it's got what we're looking for. We just got to play with it a little bit. First off, I think it's a little fast. And to slow it down, all I do is I click it, I hit Command R on my keyboard, and then I type in a percentage that I want it at. You know what? Let's try really slow. Let's try like 30% and see what that looks like. Yes, 30% is what we're looking for if I solo that. It's a nice little reveal. So what I want to do is add a cross dissolve to this. So I'm going to click my click, hit Shift D on my keyboard, and it's going to add a constant power on both sides. We're just going to shorten those up. And then I'm going to solo this first design layer so we can get this isolated. We're going to do a little bit of panning. And what panning does is it just puts the sound in the left or right channel, especially when you're working in stereo. So we're going to select our clip. We're going to come here to Effect Controls. And here's our panner, okay? And so basically, we're going to be keyframing the balance of our sound. So if I push it all the way to the left, you'll see that it comes out of only the left channel, and we see it here. Our audio meter, it's only in the left channel, and if we push it all the way to the right, it goes all the way to our right channel. Let's go to a couple frames into this effect, maybe right where the constant power stops, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're 9 frames in, and I'm gonna set my first keyframe, and we're gonna start this at +15. We're gonna set our second keyframe after he walks in, and then we're going to go to -15, so we get a little bit of panning on the sound effect from right to left. Negative is going to the left, positive is going to the right. Yeah, that's good enough. Now, I think it's just a little loud, so we're going to hit G, hit Adjust Gain Byte, and type in -10. Let's start there. It's kind of like his reveal as a character. We have this rack focus down the line on these tracks. I think I want to add a low-pass car sound here, because what those tracks are supposed to represent, it's like a car's here, right? It's like a nod to what's going to happen at the end of the commercial when the car pulls up. And I think I want to add a little more bass into that, maybe like a whoosh or something. So let's get that car sound effect right there, yeah. So I like that. We're actually going to bring that up a little bit, and we're going to do a low pass. So all we're going to do is come to our effects over here. We're going to type in low pass. It's under your filter and EQ. We're going to drag and drop that low pass onto our car sound effect. Let's play with our low pass. So we're down to 1300 hertz. Let's bring that up to like 5200. Let's see what that looks like. I think it's kind of hard to hear because the frequency of the guitar and the music, the da-na, kind of matches with the frequency of that. So I think it's going to be tough to hear. We could bring the pitch down. So let's go to effects. Let's go to pitch, right? Pitch shifter is what we're looking for. And we're gonna put that in. And we'll go to effect controls and we'll hit edit on pitch shifter. This is gonna pop up. So it's broken down into semitones and cents. How I look at it is 100 cents is worth 1 semitone. So all I wanna do is let's bring that back to 0, right? And let's bring this pitch down 1 semitone. I like that. I'm digging that. So what I've done is I've taken a car sound, I've timed it to the rack focus on the screen. We put a pitch shifter effect on it, and we decreased it by 5 semitones, which what we want to do is just get a lower bassier sound out of it, which I really like. Let's add a whoosh sound effect to his shoe, you know, really soft, kind of like he's just moving through the wind. Solo that out. Yeah, I think that's okay. We're just emphasizing some movements. And you know what? Let's do another one right here. Let's copy that one over and let's go to the leg lift right there. Let's try that one. Let's solo this out. Ooh, I kind of like that. Gee, we'll add like 5 decibels to the peak of that. Let's see. Ooh, I like that. Hold Option and copy that over, and then we're going to click it, hit Command R, and we're going to reverse the speed of that as if it was coming back down into its stance. Yeah, I like that. And you know what? Let's add like a little small impact there. Let's try Big Deep 2. Big Deep 2 is in the Hits and Risers packs. So what I want to do is I want to create more layers. So we're going to go here. We're going to go add track. And here is our track that we added. I'm going to rename that design_2, rename that to 3. We're just adding a track so we can get some more room. Boom, right there. So let's see what that sounds like. Let's time it up. So I want to get rid of that immediate impact. I want to soften it up. So I'm going to cut off the top 3 frames where the impact starts, and we're just going to do a constant power. And that's going to soften up the impact. And if I hit G, to adjust the gain by negative, let's go 10. Let's start with 10. And if that's too quiet, we'll increase it. Kind of like it. So let's see the adjustments we've made thus far. Oops. Nice, the reveal. Okay, so we have our car sound effect here. Let's throw the low pass on that, kind of like we did for... Actually, let's copy both of these and bring these over. Cool, so we'll play with that when we get into leveling. But right now we're still designing. So let's play this without the music. One more time I was talking, I couldn't hear that. Okay, so we have a whoosh sound here. As he's bringing the heel down, let's reverse that whoosh sound. Option click over here. I'm gonna hit Command R. We're gonna reverse that speed as he's bringing it down. So let's put an impact in there. Okay, so I'm actually gonna add another track here. Okay, we're gonna call this design_4. I wanna put the same impact that I put here, right there. I want this one. So we're gonna move the ambience down. We're gonna copy this over. Awesome. So I'm okay with that. Now, maybe a whoosh or impact sound as he's coming down into his stance, kind of like him settling in. Like, that's the kind of sound effect we are looking for now. I like that one. I like the calm whoosh. We've been using this one. Why fix what's not broken? Kind of like that boom. I kind of like the whoosh into the boom again. So let's bring this one up. And you know what? Let's bring the whoosh up here. Let's bring the boom down here. I'm digging it. Ooh, we got another chance. So right here, I definitely want to kind of do a riser. We rise into him looking up. And I think that look up is literally going to be this same effect right here. So if we go here. Awesome. Now let's do a risers. Why don't we use the bass atmosphere then, and we'll grow that. So let's see how we want to do this. Let's loop this bass atmosphere. So I'm going to bring you over here. Going to do that. I'm going to bring you down, and then we'll just go like this. And then so what I'm going to do is hit my pen tool, hit P on my keyboard, and we're going to see this line. I'm going to click here to make my first point, make my second point, and we're just going to make this bass the riser. And then we're immediately going to drop this back down to where it was at, which was around 0. Let's get rid of the bass altogether right here. We're just going to get rid of it all. We're able to get some design in there, a little bit of design just to emphasize the tension. So let's get let's copy and paste this effect. It's doing really well on the explosion. I kind of like that. Let's bring the bass back in, and we'll actually bring in the beginning of it. We don't want that is the beginning of it. Okay, we'll bring in the beginning of it. And we'll fade it in right there just to get an idea. What I want to do is I want to add one last riser as the music's going up, as he takes off here. Doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. So now we're gonna go into the TS Hits and Risers pack. I like that one. We're gonna do that one. We're gonna do the reversed sound effect here, and we're gonna plop it in right there. And we are going to create, it looks like another layer, yep. So I'll put you right there. Little bit of a riser, and you know what? I almost want to take this one out. Now that one's in, I want to take this one out, and we can actually reverse it and fade that one out. That might just do it for design. Let's do a double check. Let's go all the way through and listen. Awesome. So that is a basic walkthrough of kind of how I like to design. We're emphasizing specific beats in the story that we think are necessary. That is all we're doing. Using builds, impacts, ambience, atmosphere, stuff like that. So if you're able to follow along, right the hell on. So I'm gonna hit Command S, And that about does it for the actual designing portion. Like I said, it is a lot of plug and chug, which brings me to this. Every decision you make while editing adds to your experience as an editor. And with experience comes that intuition that everyone's talking about, the gut cut. That feeling you get when you know you need to cut. And now the gut cut isn't just actual cutting, it's for sound design. It's where you think a sound effect should go. It's what effects you think should go on top of those sounds. It's a whole bunch of stuff. God, I just love the talk. Give me a break. These videos were made 3 years ago, but I am posting them to YouTube because I do want the world to see them. The design part is kind of important. All it does is it just creates an emotion for the viewer. And it's a really easy way to guide emotions. And so that's all that video was trying to say. This video that you just watched is part of a larger conglomerate of videos. This is like episode 20, episode 21 or something. There's like 37 episodes, so we got a lot to go. We're releasing one a week, so if you want to stick around, hit the bell thing so that when I post the next one, it bells you so that you can see stuff. I hope these are actually helpful too. I hope I didn't just make a shitty product. Well, actually, I did make a shitty product. Especially when I'm looking back on it and I'm like trying to understand what was going through my head, but I think we all do that at some point. What's cool is that you get to see me do it on YouTube, so